in this video, we're just going to make a small little Christmas tree out of fondant. So I've just got, it looks like a bit of a mucky green here, which we're going to use for the centre of our tree. Now, if you find your fondant's a bit soft, just mix in a bit of modelling paste, gum paste, flour paste, or gum track, just to stiffen it a little bit. Now, I'm just going to start to roll it into a little bit of a cone shape now. It might be a little bit bigger than I need, so I'm going to make it quite slim, because what will happen is when we add the detailing on afterwards, it's going to thicken it up quite a lot. So if you start with quite a fat chunky tree, it's going to end up really wide and then not looking very tall by the time we've finished. Okay, so don't worry too much about getting an exact point on the top, because again, when we add the detail, we'll work upwards. So size wise, it's just a little bit tall. So rather than screwing it up and starting again, what you can do, if you want it a little bit shorter, is just cut a bit off the bottom like that. And then obviously when you stand it back up, just make sure that it is still standing up reasonably straight. Now, I've just got a little kit card just to stand it on while I'm making it. If you've got lots of time, you can leave that to harden a little bit. I'll just work on it straight away, so you'll probably find that mine moves around a little bit. But like I say, if you've got more time, just let it harden a little bit first. So we've got some green fondant here. That's the colour that I want the tree to look. This is a mucky colour because it's a bit of fondant that I had left from another project. So rather than wasting it, I thought I'll use it in the centre of the tree where it won't be seen. So what I'm going to do is we're literally going to make the tree by making lots of like teardrop shapes. And we'll start with them bigger at the bottom and we'll make them smaller as we go up. So what I need for each little section, and you'll probably find that it's a bit time consuming, you might not want to do it exactly the same way, but have a go, see what you think, and it might be that you can use some tips from this, but you might not do it the same way. So one big ball and two that are a little bit smaller, which will go either side. So we're just going to roll it into our teardrop shape. So start with a ball and just roll to one side. You'll see I've got food colouring stuck in my fingernails. It isn't dirt, I promise. So we've got one teardrop, it's quite long at the end, but that's fine. We're going to do exactly the same with our smaller ones. Okay. And then I'm going to find a paintbrush somewhere, using just a little bit of water. I'm going to put a little bit of water on either side, and we're going to stick these at either side of your bigger teardrop like that. Now that's the basic shape that we're going to make for like the leaf on the tree, and we're going to make lots of those. So for the bottom layer, they're all going to be the same size as that, so you might want to make a few, and then the next layer up we're going to make them a little bit smaller. So I'll make some more. So I haven't made enough for all the way around the bottom yet, but just so we can make a start, I'll show you what we're going to do. So just using a bit of water, you can use edible glue if you like. I'm just going to put some on the bottom of the tree where we're going to stick our little leafy bits that we've made. I know they don't really look like a real tree, but it's just something that's a little bit different to show you. And we're going to place that where you've put your water. You can have it so that the bottom one just kind of overlaps a little bit and kind of goes onto the card rather than starting dead at the bottom of the tree, if that makes sense. Hopefully you can see it okay on there. Then you're going to add your next one next to it. So we're going to put that on there. So you see the shorter ones almost come to the bottom of the tree, and then your bigger bits overlap. I'll put a bit more water on there. Don't put too much water on, else you'll find that instead of sticking, which that one hasn't, it'll just slip right off rather than sticking to your tree. And you don't want it sliding off, it becomes a bit of a pain to get it to stay in place then. Okay, so I'll carry on doing that all the way around. So we've gone all the way around the bottom, and they've actually fitted in quite neatly. Sometimes I end up with a little gap and I have to push them further around to fill in the gap. So what we've done now is we're starting the next layer. So these are just a little bit smaller than they were on the last one. So as we're going up, they're going to get smaller. And I do find it difficult to get things the same size, so this time what I've done is I've rolled all my balls out for the big ones to start with so that they're similar-ish in size, and then I can work on them from there. So we'll make those into the little teardrop shapes, and then we'll add the small one next to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill in between the ones we've just put on. So for this one, rather than putting it on directly above this, we're going to put it in between these two here. So just on there, like that, and it more or less fills the little gap that we had there. And again, you can do that all the way around, filling in those gaps. So it's gradually becoming a little bit more tree-like as we're going up. Now, I've kept the last one from that level so that I can see what size ball it was that I've used, so that when I start the balls from my next level, I can make them all just a little bit smaller than that last one. They don't have to be exact, don't worry about getting them exact, but just as long as they're smaller than that one. So I'll do exactly the same thing, and what we're going to do is we'll literally keep doing that. So I won't bore you making me watch it all, and then I'll just let you watch as I finish doing the top of the tree. So I'm almost to the very top of my tree, gradually doing them smaller as I'm going up. So you'll see I've got my final few little bits of leaves, oh, if I can keep them on my hand, ready. So they're getting quite small and quite fiddly now. So when you start your bottom ones, don't make them too small, because you'll find by the time you get to the top that it's too difficult to do the small ones because it becomes a bit fiddly. So I'm just going to wet the top of my tree, and I'm just going to put these on, again, in between. And I'm just going to leave it so the top bit just pokes up ever so slightly so that it'll cover that top bit of my tree. So I'm going to try and squeeze these in. You might find it is a little bit of a squeeze now to get them in as you're going around. Apologies if you can't see what I'm doing very well. It's quite dark as well out now, so my lighting's not very good for the camera really. So you'll see it's starting to fill in a little bit. So again, and I don't know if my fingers probably get in the way when I'm doing this. Try and join up all the points at the top if you can. So I've got another 3 to fit in there, but to be honest I think I'll probably only fit 2 at the most in there now. I don't want to squeeze them in and find that I knock everything out of place by getting the right amount in, so I've just got space for 1 more, which I'll try and squeeze in. If you find these top bits a bit fiddly, doing them in like little bunches of 3, just do single teardrop shapes and just put all your single teardrop shapes in the top instead, and that'll work just as well. So I just thought for a tree that's a little bit different to the ones that you normally see, then you could try and go for this kind of thing. But obviously it takes a little while to do. And then of course you can put Christmas presents and decorations on, just little rolls of coloured fondant that you'd stick on for little baubles. Okay, thank you for watching.
If you liked this video and would like to see more, please click on the images of the other videos suggested. Also, please do subscribe to my channel using the button at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. You can also visit my cake website and my Facebook page to see more cakes and ideas.